Rachel? Why are you a crawfish? How this time? Gotta stop doing that. What's it like being a tiny white lobster monster? But Rachel. So does that mean you're not going to be able to host the show this week? The world's not ready for a crawfish anchor, let alone a white one. What? I really don't think you're fit to host the show. That's not true. You got that little rainbow in there. In the, Lorax looking, tree looking things. And you're one craw cookie a day. Wait a minute. Rachel loves craw cookies. Who are you? Where's Rachel? Why, crawfish? Why? Rachel's gone.
Hello and welcome to Breaking News. I'm Joey McManus. And I'm Rachel Crow. I sure do like the news. Yes, that is why you have Walter Cronkite's face tattooed on your back. That's right, Rachel, I do. But also, please don't interrupt me. We have to get through the pre-news banter before we can start talking news. As I was saying, the news is so great, and there's always so much of it. Rachel, do you ever stop? As I was saying, news is just one of those things, you know? I sure do, Joey. You know, Rachel, that's the thing about news. It's a 4-letter word, and so is love. Love for reporting the news. I, Rachel Crow, also love the news. And we are proud to be able to bring you the news together. Together. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I can't be all you want me to be. I'm just one man.
I'm actually Rachel's replacement.
Oh. Great. We can just put you in post.
Yeah. And now for tonight's news.
A California startup has created a functioning hoverboard. Yay! Said a guy who wanted to fly, but only this much.
The death of a northern white rhino in Kenya leaves just 6 of the endangered species left in the world. Of those 6, 1 is a rebel, 1 is a nerd, 1's a basket case, and the rest have died since the beginning of this sentence.
A scientist in South America just discovered a new species of tarantula the size of puppies. Nope.
The Kansas City Royals have made the World Series for the first time since 1985. As a fun 80s throwback, instead of doing meth, everyone's back to snorting cocaine.
Woo! A man has invented a typewriter that only types in Comic Sans font. It's sure to set a very fun, goofy tone for the letters he keeps writing to his dead wife.
The Dallas Cowboys have released openly gay defensive lineman Michael Sam. Because if you gay love something, you have to gay let it go.
Beloved Breaking News host Rachel Crow is noticeably absent from this episode.
Here's a list of possible places she may be.
Rachel is trapped in a painting in the Guggenheim.
Rachel has been sucked into the Space Jam.
She met a cat named Ernest, and they are hanging out now.
Rachel ate a lot of children's Advil and is now an ulcer.
Rachel wanted to try gluten, and today just seemed like a gluten kind of day, and now she's in the hospital because the gluten she tried was arsenic.
Other priorities.
Root canal. Rachel and the Roots are in a canal paddling on a boat.
Rachel has jury duty and is 12 Angry Men, but is wrong.
Rachel is playing Shia LaBeouf in the new Indiana Jones movie.
Rachel is playing Shia LaBeouf in the home of Shia LaBeouf. His loved ones are very inattentive.
Rachel read an internet meme that said, "This life is all a dog's dream," and then went to the pound to yell at dogs.
And that's the news.
From ISIS to Ebola to Renee Zellweger still being a thing, we here at Breaking News have had a lot to cover. To give us some advice, here is senior former host correspondent Matthew Newman. Matt?
Thanks, Sexier Me. Look, I've been around the block a few times before. I covered the sports and I hosted Breaking News. Thank you. I covered everything from the Olympics to the drone strikes, but one story has gone unnoticed, and it's time to bring it to light.
Yes, Matt?
Oh, sorry, I'm pausing for dramatic effect. It shows you have confidence and is in no way about me buying time.
Okay.
I'll get there, Joey. Look, I don't want to have to teach you everything about journalism on your first day here, so.
I've been on this show for a year now.
But you're brand new, so I'll let your ignorance slide. I will now have to start over again, though, from the top. Thanks, Sexier Me. Look, I've been around the block a few times in my days here, and I'm sorry. Can we cut? Can we cut? I'm sorry. It says here spelled H-E-A-R, and it's throwing old Noomy for a loop. So,
This is a live show, Matt. You can't just cut.
okay, I used to host the show, so I think I know what I'm talking about, okay? That's a camera. Behind us is a map of Finland, and that's Rachel Crow.
Actually, it's me, Ricky. We've been on the show together since the beginning. You wrote the foreword to my manifesto.
Okay. I don't want to hear it from you too, Sexier Joey. I've had a really tough time since leaving the show, which I didn't want to admit. But this is just kind of a big deal for me, you know? So sometimes I wake up in Macy's and deliver monologue jokes to the mannequins. Sometimes there's laughter. Most times it's mannequins.
Does that mean you also sleep inside of Macy's?
It's been rough. And that's why I'm tired of hearing it from you and from Joey McMahon-ass over here. Okay? When I say I need a cut, I just need a cut. I mean, I understand they just found you on the street, threw you into a suit, gave you all this glory, but let me tell you, one day they're gonna throw you right back onto the street, take that suit off, and give it to some other redhead with a bigger cock and a wider smile. And there is nothing you can do about it except come back with your head held low, swallowing every ounce of pride you got, then look the newer, sexier, oranger man in the eyes and say, "You win."
Jesus. Is Ricky really going to try to steal the show from me?
He always has and always will.
Well, do you want to try delivering a joke or something just to get you back in the swing of things?
I would like that, uglier Ricky. I would like that, uglier Ricky, very much. A Boston native was found inside a local Macy's this past Tuesday, completely nude and screaming at the mannequins. When reached for comment, the man said he was fully justified and had nowhere else to go. Okay, fine, I'll get help.
Matt Newman, everybody.
We'll be right back after this brief screening of product-based short films.
Commercials?
Don't talk smart to me, Joey.
Do you even work on this show? Did anybody else see him?
Joey, who are you talking to?
No one. Nothing. Nowhere. Why am I so cold? We'll be right back.
My, Joey, what a thicker head of tangy orange.
Thank you, Dante. You're such a charmer. You really know how to make a boy feel special.
Oh, my sweet Joey Balboa. Thank you. You've made these barber ads of mine work very hard for their supper today.
Yeah.
And we're done. And the reviews are in.
It's perfect. Thank you, Dante.
Oh, any place, any time, a Joe man.
Thank you, Dante.
Goodbye, Joey. Until we met again. Au revoir. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dante.
Bye-bye.
Do you need something?
No.
Okay, well, goodbye.
Oh, you want me to go?
We have a show to do.
No, of course, Joseph. Don't worry, I understand. Old Dante will be out of your hair. Say no more. It's just nothing.
Okay.
It's just
What?
what?
We have a show to do.
Okay.
Last week, Roman Catholic bishops voted down what would have been a historic shift in the church's approach towards gays and the divorced.
Joining us today is a man who is heavily invested in the future of the church, our resident Catholic correspondent, Vinny Scarpiello.
Hey there, it's nice to be here.
So, Vinny, we understand that you were deeply troubled by the events that took place this week.
That's all right, Joey. If there is one thing a man should be able to rely on, it's the Pope and the Cardinal standing in agreement. It's like if your mom and her best friend Nancy were to get into a fight about who makes the best pasta fagoule. You make it together, a mom and Nancy, and you make it and you a laugh about the barbershop and funniest stories generated there or within.
That's just what it's like, Vinny.
Actually, it's a Vinny.
Isn't that what he said?
Sorry to be a stickler, Joey, but he said Vinny. My name is a Vinny. Well, with the Pope and Cardinals disagreeing, I don't know what to believe anymore. Do I side with the new hot Pope Francis or the reliable, lovable Cardinals? It's like when you fall in love with a crowd of a tougher neighborhood youths based on a mutual appreciation for leather. But your father tells you those are the bad kids, and you're torn because your father's a hardworking man, but he's never made a cent in his life. And the neighborhood youths can afford a nice leather. But who do I side with? I have to turn to the Bible and my Catholic God. Have you read the thing?
Vinny, you're our Catholic correspondent and you haven't read the Bible?
I've skimmed, but I've been listening to my audible.com of the Bible in my car and am incredibly confused.
Well, Vinny, the Bible is famously inconsistent. It's like some parts are a meatball for a meatball, and others are all turn the other spaghetti.
I don't really get that reference. I actually find it to be highly distasteful.
Well, Vinny, most people just pick and choose what they wanted to believe.
So you're saying it doesn't matter what the Pope and the Cardinal have to say about gay marriage? I can think about the issue and form an opinion myself?
That's right, Vinny. You can.
Getting colder.
So are you saying it doesn't matter what the Pope and the Cardinal have to say about gay marriage? I can think about the issue and form an opinion myself?
Well, I'm not really sure I should be the person to give you permission to do that.
This is the beginning of a new chapter in my life. This is like when your friends Brenda and Eddie get married and everyone thinks it's a great idea because they were popular steadies and the king and the queen at the prom. But suddenly, as a result of a series of horrific events, they get divorced and it's horrible and you feel like the world is over. But then all of a sudden, Billy Joel entertains you with a different scene from an Italian restaurant.
I'm not sure you're taking this seriously. For what we want, I'm sure you're taking this what we want you to be taken from.
I'm going to go to my home in Nazareth.
Whoa! Secret origin.
I will walk the town square barefoot. My feet will bleed. I will not feel. Lord God is my socks. I will come across a loathsome tax collector lying naked in the road.
What a thing to come across.
I will lift him by the neck. I will bring his face to my own.
Scary now. Scary out of nowhere.
And before I bring a stone down upon his pitiful visage, I whisper, this is a gift from Joey McManus and his nameless replaceable friend.
Vinny Scarpiello, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, Joey, it sure is nice to be here behind the desk with you, or without you, but with the desk.
Ricky, you're not going to try to usurp the show real quick during this video segment, are you?
No.
Because that'd be bad.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work.
Of course.
Because I'm strong.
Sure.
And I could fight you.
You tried.
And I'd win.
You'd be remembered as brave.
Yeah.
But foolish.
And the producers would stop you.
They tried.
And save me?
They'd never find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about that segment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's happening, David?
You've seen robots. You've seen bees. But one man sees them coming together. Joining me is Harvard engineer Robert Wood, who promises that his project will revolutionize how we use robotic technology. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've seen robots, you've seen bees, but you see them coming together. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a fairly simple concept. Robo-bees are robots the size of bees.
I'm not sure if I follow.
Allow me to elaborate. They are designed to fly in a swarm controlled by an operator.
A human, yes.
Yes, and these bees would be programmed to enter environments no human could, such as disaster sites or the fields of war.
With the intention being search and rescue.
To start out, yes. But the implications of bee-sized robots are endless. They could enter the site of a sinkhole and search for survivors. They could enter a burning building and figure out the safest parts before a firefighter even enters. They could fix the economy if they were to, say, enter the White House.
Scary thought.
Imagine, if you will, a man running from a crime he's just committed. He is a fugitive from the law, and he is suddenly engulfed in a cloud of bees. But these are not nature's honeymakers. No, these are a carefully constructed symphony of circuits and poetry.
Poetry, yes.
The swarm carrying out the necessary act of justice would not be controlled by mindless animal instinct or the human folly of mercy. It would be a superior intellect pulling the strings. Why not me?
What are you saying?
I don't care much for modern music. Even classic American forms like jazz and the blues are too bogged down in the morass of human emotion.
Jazz man, huh?
The work of Johann Sebastian Bach is mathematically perfect. It's better than art. It is science given life. And that is what I am trying to capture with my robo-bees.
Robo-bees, the very idea. Now, Robert, how do you respond to critics calling your ideas evil and murder?
I was an engineering consultant for the U.S. military during the early days of the Iraq War. I was actually instrumental in the first drone strike in U.S. history. Did you know that the human sense of smell is the most strongly connected to memory? I remember the smell first. I said, "Dear God, what is that burning?" And then I heard the screaming. And then I saw it. Their gods torn from their temples and smashed in the streets. So you don't talk to me about evil. Evil is a word mothers whisper to their children to explain away the monsters under their beds. Monsters we created by dividing people into castes of good and evil like we were sorting beans. Morality is the great problem. And I am the great solution.
Sorting beans, the very idea.
You poor boy. Just watching as the world spins, and I try to make sense of this madness. You're like a moon trapped in my orbit.
Thank you, Rob, I tried. So next time you feel a sting, be careful before you swat. It could be one of Rob's robo-bees. Back to you.
Thanks, David. Before we go to commercial, I have to say I couldn't be more excited to have our correspondents working with us on every news segment. It revitalizes my passion for journalism and gives me a chance to work on my much talked about gift of chemistry.
Joseph, do you believe in God?
I don't. I used to.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but this is really not the place or time for...
My God was taken from me.
We'll be right back. Last week, a man in Fredericton, Canada found a dead mouse in a coffee he bought from McDonald's last week. Here to tell us about the situation, McDonald's PR representative, Janice Pinksludge.
Thank you, Joey. And let me say, on behalf of the McDonald's Corporation, we are so sorry about this tragedy.
I don't know if tragedy is the right...
To lose one of our own mice in the hot baths of Java.
Sorry, what?
We lost a mouse who was more than a mouse. He had the heart of a man and the hands of a less strong man.
Janice, the issue here isn't that a mouse died. It's that a man was drinking a coffee and as he got to the bottom found a dead, disgusting rodent.
His name was Colonel. We called him that because he always and explicitly found popcorn kernels that we let him skip across the deep fryer. We loved him. And don't think for 1 second because of this unfortunate mishap that we at McDonald's condone animal violence.
But Janice, McDonald's entire business plan is based on selling meat from mistreated animals. How is this any different than killing a cow?
He had a face. Cows don't have faces. He was our mouse. Have you ever seen a cow? There is an entire game dedicated to pushing cows over just so you do not have to see their ugly faces that they don't have. Colonel lived in our store. We knew him. Have you ever known a cow? No. Cows live in Kansas. They're far away. They're barely even animals when you take distance into account. I could eat a person from Kansas and feel nothing. This was a city mouse. He had a band and a dream and a little motorcycle.
Isn't that a Beverly Cleary novel?
Fuck you, Joey.
But Janice, what about the man whose coffee was contaminated by this?
Contaminated? He tasted the last sweet dregs of Colonel's life He should feel honored to have sipped the popcorn-salted blood of the creature who played a cover of Born to Run unparalleled by anyone else using a guitar less than 2 inches. He had the guitar of a small Playmobil figure and the hands of a less strong Playmobil figure. He was our figure, our spirit, our colonel.
Are you using colonel as like a pun to make it seem like he's a military leader?
Yes.
Nice.
Janice Pink Sludge, everyone. Hey, Joey, how's that side of the desk?
Very chill. How is that side of the desk?
Pretty dank. What's the next segment?
Mouth to mouth.
Great, bye!
Shit, I love science.
A newly created database of New Yorkers deemed too mentally unstable to carry firearms has grown to nearly 35,000 names, a figure that has raised concerns among some mental health advocates that too many people have been categorized as dangerous.
And since Rachel is gone this week, I'll step into her metaphorical pantsuit to debate this nuanced issue with my great pal, Joey.
Well, Kevin, we usually start this segment off by stating our own polarized opinions on the topic, and then we move on to debating them. So, what do you think?
Oh, man, what do I think? Good question, Joey. I'm really going to need a minute to think on that one. I need it to, marinate and really soak in the hot tub time machine of my mind.
Kevin, this is a debate segment. You have an annoyingly strong opinion. That's kind of the whole point. People loudly proclaiming opinions is what makes television interesting. Sometimes I like to scream my opinions into the ocean even when no one is watching. It's cathartic.
I guess you're right, Joey. That does sound like a healthy exercise. It's just, I can't figure out where I stand on this whole issue.
Okay, it's easy. Let me break it down for you. New gun laws in New York have made it so that thousands of people no longer have access to guns because they have been deemed too mentally unstable.
Right. Guns. They can't have them. That's bad?
Here, I'll make it even more simple for you. Do you think people with mental illnesses should have access to guns?
No, of course not. That would be dangerous.
Great. Now we're getting somewhere. Do you think that people with mental illnesses should be discriminated against and not allowed access to guns and the right to protect themselves?
No, of course not. That's a slight on basic human rights.
Kevin, now you're just going against what you were saying before.
Well, it's just that of course we should restrict mentally unstable people from purchasing guns, but also they should be allowed to access the same kind of weapons and protection that everyone else is. We shouldn't be allowed to discriminate against the mentally ill. But Kevin, what about the safety of the public? How can we be keeping them safe if we're allowing mentally unstable people to buy and carry firearms? But Kevin, the vast majority of people with mental illnesses aren't violent. Not to mention, accurately predicting whether someone will be violent is a highly fraught process.
Kevin, you're completely disregarding the debate format. You're supposed to be arguing your opinions with me, not yourself.
Sorry, it's just every time I have an opinion on anything, it just completely overrides itself with an opinion in favor of a different side.
That's okay. Maybe the reason why this issue has driven you crazy is because it's part of the human condition to be a bit mentally unstable, which also means that perhaps no person should be trusted with the kind of power and responsibility that a firearm comes with.
No, Joey, that wasn't where I was going.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Great debate, Kev. Now back to Hitler with the weather.
It's going to rain. On behalf of all of us at Breaking News, have a lovely evening.